Welcome, ladies and gentlemen of the media, and thank you for coming today. At my invitation, the chairman and all of the commissioners came to a meeting at the Presidency at 10 o'clock this morning. And we had a very simple agenda, and it was important in our view that we address the topic of general and regional elections, which is the concern of every Guyanese at present. I wanted the opportunity to welcome the chairman to our first meeting after her selection, and it was a very cordial, consensual process in accordance with what the CCJ had advised, that we should move towards consensualism and away from unilateralism. From the commentaries in the press, I feel that there is widespread public approbation of her appointment. And in that regard, on behalf of the government, I extended congratulations. As you know, both sides, the government side and the opposition, had appointed a working group, and they were involved in hammering out the selection over a period of several days. And we were very happy that at the culmination of those efforts, the leader of the opposition and I were able to quickly reach an outcome which, as I said, is favorable to all parties. Although it is early in the tenure of the new chairman, I don't think it was inappropriate to meet at this time to give her the assurance that the government is going to continue to observe the independence of the Election Commission. It will not dictate, it will not interfere, it will not intrude in the work of the Commission. It will observe all of the roles and responsibilities of the Commission given to it by the Constitution. So at this stage, I'll ask the Director General, who was present at that meeting, to continue to brief you. It was a remarkably brief meeting, and it was a good atmosphere, and I believe that it served the purpose in giving the Commission certain assurances. Colonel Harmon?
Yes, sir. I'd just like to add to what the President just said, and the President, I believe, has actually covered the meeting in its entirety, because it was a very brief meeting in which the President laid out what the government's position is in relation to credible elections, to the consequential orders of the Caribbean Court of Justice, the way forward, and the political situation in Guyana. All of these topics are covered by booklets which have been produced by the government and would have been circulated, or if not, would be circulated to the Commission. It is important to note that His Excellency the President made it very clear that the government will continue to provide all of the support necessary for the Elections Commission to execute its mandate. Additionally, the President made it clear that we were interested in early elections and in credible elections, and that the government will not dictate in any way to the Commission how they will do their work. The Commission will advise government, advise His Excellency the President on what they perceive to be the issues, and the chairman did in fact commit to having met with the full Commission at their meeting on the 15th of August, that she will thereafter communicate to His Excellency the position of the Commission. And that is what I wish to say, sir.
Thank you. I could only add that the matter is now before the Supreme Court, and the chairman of the Commission obviously would want to know what the Chief Justice will say, and thereafter, I expect to be in touch with the chairman and the commissioners again. So right now, the government, as the Director General has pointed out, is very respectful of the role of the Elections Commission. And once I receive advice from them, from the commissioners or from the chairman of the commission, I will act on that advice, and we expect that all Guyanese will respect the independent role of the Elections Commission, and that we could proceed to general and regional elections in accordance with the work which that commission has to do. So far, that is all we have to say on what took place this morning, and we look forward to hearing from the Commission in the weeks to come. Thank you very much.
Nazima Raghaver, Prime News. Sir, could you, given your last statement, could you say whether or not you're willing to accept the Chief Justice's ruling next week if it's not in favor of House to House? And in your brief meeting this morning, did the Commission, or did you ask the Commission about its readiness to hold the polls in a 3-month time frame?
No, we are not in the business of giving any direction to the Commission. The chairman will advise me on the readiness of the Commission. So we are not proposing any role. As far as the readiness is concerned, the chairman must advise me. We will provide the Commission with all of the resources. We've already provided over $8 billion between November, even prior to the no confidence motion, we provided billions of dollars, and we provided again this year. So our role is just to make sure that the Commission has resources. We didn't cross-examine the Commission, and we will allow the Commission to do what it is authorized to do under the Constitution.
And are you ready to accept the CG's ruling next week if it's not in favor of House to House?
We are ready to pursue any legal action that we feel would lead to a favorable outcome, to have credible elections in Guyana. Our concern is with credible elections, and we have said over and over again that if the list is flawed, it must be corrected. It is for the Commission to say how it will correct that list. But as leader of the People's National Congress Reform, as chairman of a Partnership for National Unity, as president of Guyana, we are interested in credible elections. And this has been said repeatedly, and that is what we are aiming at. So we will accept any formula, any rule, or any decision which satisfies the requirements for credible elections.
So it's possible you can appeal the decision if it's not in your favor? You're open to an appeal if it's not in your favor?
I said what I said.
Point mostly news source. Mr. President, sir, we've been talking a lot about the readiness of GECOM for the elections. What about the readiness of the coalition? How ready is the APNU AFC coalition for these early elections as we prepare for them?
We are preparing, we are prepared to enter elections. I think since December last year, a period of nearly 9 months, certain preparations have been taking place. Naturally, our supporters in the coalition, in our partnership, in the respective parties, have been alerted to what needs to be done, and things are being done.
And sir, you've dispatched a response to the opposition leader, Mr. Jagbio, with regards to the resignation of the president and the cabinet. They might want to say that we're not respecting the ruling of the CCJ. How would you respond to such a statement?
I shall meet the leader of the opposition tomorrow, Friday. Maybe his interpretation differ, but the CCJ was quite clear that it would issue no coercive orders, and it cannot direct the Commission when to hold elections. If ballot papers have not yet been printed, can I tell the Commission to have elections on the 18th of August if they have not printed ballot papers? This is what I describe as the Abuja scenario, where on the morning of elections, the Election Commission called the government of Nigeria and said, we're not ready. I shall wait on the advice of the Commission.
Sir, there's been some concern expressed by the opposition leader too, with regard to the number of Haitians arriving in Guyana and his thoughts about why they might be here. We haven't heard from you about that issue, so could you?
I think with that remark, the train just ran off the rails.
Yeah, we'll keep.
Are you examining a
What is
December
elections?
date for elections?
Well,
Are you examining a December date for elections? There's a news report to that effect.
the news couldn't have come from me. We are interested in elections, in credible elections as early as possible.
Sir, but my colleague had a value question. The opposition leader is accusing the government of allowing the Haitians in the country to be registered on the voters list. How do you, even as president or party leader, respond to something like that?
That is incredible.
The allegation is incredible.
Opposition leaders tend to oppose. But there is no credibility. The Minister of Citizenship has stated quite clearly what his interpretation is. It seems from the analyses which have been made available to the government that many Haitians are heading for a third destination, that they're not interested in staying here and they may want to go to a third country. Again, these are all allegations, but as far as we are concerned, we want to protect the sovereignty and integrity of Guyana. We don't want to be used as a conduit for illegal migration. We already have thousands of Venezuelan migrants in the country. We are concerned about that. We know of the influx of Cubans, but suddenly there seems to be a great concern about the influx of Haitians. But my understanding is that they are not going to be involved in influencing the elections in Guyana, nor with the Cubans, nor with the Venezuelans.